Hello! It's time for a story called Rocketmole, Mission to the Moon. There he is. This is a story about a mole called Armstrong who doesn't dig living underground. His friends think building a rocket to go to the moon is an astronomically bad idea. But Armstrong is determined to boldly go where no mole has gone before. So let's find out how that happens. There he is with his cup of tea. Those look a little bit like his plans for his rocket, don't they? His design. So, Rocketmole. Armstrong the mole was fed up with living underground. It was dark, damp and dirty, and a bit boring, he says. But boring is what moles do, laughed his friend Mona. You see, Armstrong was a star-nosed mole. If I show you a bit closer up, you can see he's got a star shape on his nose. Instead of digging down, he preferred to look up. He was also a clever and inventive mole. He built himself a telescope, wow, look at that, and made some glasses so he could look through it. And he's saying, wow! Look at his little workshop where he makes his things. He's got a poster of the solar system and some star pictures. Armstrong yearned for adventure. One night he tunnelled up to the surface to look at the moon. It was amazing, growing brightly in the night sky. He's thinking in his head, I need some space. That's it, he said to himself. I'm going to go to the moon. Armstrong called a mole meeting to tell all his friends. Don't be silly, said Doug. We moles stay underground because it's safe down here. Armstrong didn't care about danger. He was a mole on a mission. And here he's saying, I'm boldly going where no mole has gone before. And look at his friends. They all look quite surprised, don't they? And one of them's eating a yummy packet of jelly worms. It's written on there. Jelly worms. But he soon found out that getting a small mammal into orbit wasn't that easy. Here, going up his ladder, he says, this is far too short. Boing, boing on the trampoline. What does he say? So near yet so far. He didn't give up, though. Boom! Ouch! Oh dear, he's fallen flat on his nose. To get to the moon, he was going to have to think big. Very big. Armstrong worked day and night until he'd made the biggest rocket any mole had ever built. In fact, it was the only rocket any mole had ever built. Even his friends were impressed as they bravely peeked up above the ground to watch the countdown. Yeah. It's out of this world. It will be in a minute. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Woohoo! Oh dear, look. The other moles have scarpered straight back down into the ground. The rocket zoomed into space at an incredible speed. The journey to the moon was long and dangerous, but floating around in zero gravity was fun, although drinking tea was a bit of a struggle, and the less said about going to the toilet, the better. After a few days, Armstrong reached the moon. He leapt out, full of excitement. "This is one small step for a man, one giant leap for a mole." He'd made it! He looks pretty happy, doesn't he? And on his flag it says, "Hooray!" Armstrong was the first mole on the moon. He felt very proud. He would have patted himself on the back, but his spacesuit was too tight. Armstrong began to explore. He bounced around for a bit, but the novelty soon wore off. The moon was not that different from home. It was dark and cold and a bit boring. "There's just no atmosphere," he thinks. Suddenly, Armstrong felt very small. Look at that big, vast sky full of stars that he's looking at. He sat down for a spot of lunch. The world looked so beautiful with its oceans, lands, and fluffy clouds. "I miss the earth and I miss my friends," he sighed. He tried to eat his dehydrated cheese sandwich, but he couldn't get it past his space helmet. What's he saying? It's time to go home. Armstrong headed back down to Earth. Whee! And landed with a bump. He was about to go underground to find his friends when they surprised him. They'd plucked up the courage and ventured above ground to welcome him home. "You're an inspiration to us all," said Maggie. "You've shown that if you're brave enough to follow your dreams, anything is possible." And they've got a banner saying, "Welcome home." "It's one giant leap for mole kind," chuckled Armstrong. The welcome home party was brilliant, but Armstrong looked glum. Look, there he is in the middle of all his friends, and he doesn't look too happy, does he? And the banner this time it says, "Armstrong, first mole on the moon." His friends already felt bigger and braver. "Don't worry, we'll come with you," they all cried. "We're not boring anymore." She's having a drink at the party. Armstrong, ding, had a great idea. "That's it! If I recycle the rocket, it might just work." And so Armstrong built an amazing underground boring machine and set out on a brand new adventure, this time with all his friends on board. "Let's go! We've got a whole world to explore," they're saying. And look at the little worms who are quickly tunnelling away, going, "Oh, what's going on?" And this one's saying, "I'm out of here." Armstrong and Friends World Tour. Look, now here we've got a picture of the whole planet Earth, and we can see all the places they've been to because they've posted photos. Here's New York in the USA, the United States of America, and this little mole saying, "Come on, we're going shopping." And he's saying, "Wow, look at all those tall buildings." And here they're in Paris, in France. They've arrived there, and one of the little moles is at the top of the Eiffel Tower saying bonjour. And here they're in Kenya, Masai Mara in Kenya. And this little mole is saying, "Don't worry, I'm sure it will be perfectly safe up there." Does it look safe with this guy? And here they've come all the way to the very bottom of the earth, to Antarctica. And the penguin says, "Have an ice day." Here they've come to Nepal, up to the Mount Everest. And here the Great Wall of China says, now that's great. Here they're at the Taj Mahal, which is in India. And here they're in Uluru in Australia. And they're saying, this place rocks. So I hope you enjoyed that story. Take care.